Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Hi, guys. Just wait for you guys to get connected. Hello. Boa tarde, Brasil. Good afternoon, good evening, Europe, everyone that is there. Just want to say hello to everyone that is watching. Can you tell me where you guys from? Oh, Brazil. Nice. Nice wave. High five. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in another afternoon here in my balcony. My love affair with my balcony. One more episode of Tell Me More. Today I'm going to be talking to Vita Sidorkina. I feel like that's how to pronounce her surname. And all these talks I've been going through with most of the models that I've worked with, that I know. And I just wanted to share with you guys that besides a pretty face, there is like a human behind us, you know. We have great stories, and that we're hoping we can inspire many of you guys. So Vita, she's based in Miami, just like I am. She comes from Russia, and I'm really excited to talk to her. She's a mom as well. She's an entrepreneur. She's made something amazing. So I'm really looking forward to get to know her a bit more. Very exciting. Let me see here. It's connecting. Hi, beautiful.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Nice to see you. You look gorgeous as usual, glowing.
You are, same as you are, darling.
Thank you so much for accepting this invitation to talk to me and talk to everyone that is watching, of course.
You're kidding. It's an honor to talk to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I've followed your lives with other models, so it was really interesting for me to see and know other lives, that you usually meet models at work, but you don't really, sometimes conversation don't go further than just, hi, how are you? So it's been really interesting to get to know some girls that I've been seeing around all these years,
Exactly. And that's also one of the things that I want to do with this is just, oh, this is not working, so we're going to go with that. A lot of people just see us and think, we are pretty face, we're beautiful, we're models, of course, but there's so much more behind us, with our story that we go through, and just like learning with the daily basis,
For sure.
So with you, I want to start with something, because my husband went to Russia and he absolutely loved it. So my first question to you is like, how is life back in Russia? Do you miss it?
I miss my family for sure. I loved living in Russia and growing up there. I had a great life. But to be honest, America was always my dream. So I'm very happy to live in America now. So answering to your questions, I'm not planning to go back to Russia. Not missing it too much. But I definitely miss my family, my friends, my grandparents.
Of course, they all live back there. And I mean, because Miami's, if you say New York, I mean, you were in New York as well. It's, you have the winter, it's kind of like a similarity. But Miami's the opposite of like the weather and everything. What is so different that you love it?
Why I love Miami, or why I love
what's the difference from living Russia and to live in Miami, that it's kind of very different, but you enjoy it?
I mean, I'm coming from one of the coldest part of Russia, so I definitely growing up there and walking every day to school at minus 30 degrees. I was live in a climate like Miami, so I guess I manifested to myself, every day going to school and just thinking, hopefully one day this will be over and I'll never be able to do it again. And here I am living in Miami with a beautiful climate. I honestly, like, since I was a little kid, I was even telling to my mom, like, I dream to live by the ocean. I swear to God,
Wow.
this is a dream I had. I was imagining to live in a city by the ocean. And living
And
in
here
Miami,
you are. That's
it's a
amazing.
dream
Really,
come, it's a dream come
manifestation.
true, absolutely. Yes, it's a dream come true, absolutely.
Wow. I mean, now I got curious. How many layers of clothes did you had going to school?
Um, a lot. So on shoots sometimes they put AC so cold and you like all freezing, especially if you shoot like lingerie or something. And often you would hear, "You're Russian, come on." So like, and I always say
Yes.
like, if I'm Russian, it doesn't mean my body's different. It just means that at home I wear much more clothing. So like going to school, I would put like, underneath my uniform, then I would put a sweater, then on top another sweater, and then I'll put a big coat and a hat. So it was like, to dress up, it was like a full on 40 minutes just to put all the equipment. And then
Oh, the equipment. I love it.
yeah, and then to go to school undressed, to put everything on this like like a warmer thing, the I don't know how it's called, like the thing that warms up the room.
Oh, yeah, the heater.
The heaters, yeah. So you would have to put your clothes to the heat on the heater, because from the snow your clothes is so wet that you want it to dry on the end of the when you go back home.
It's
So
exhausting. It's
it's a full
tiring.
it's a full-on project, yeah. And when I was like a little bit older, obviously you wanted to look pretty, so you would put makeup on before going to school. And you arrive and you have like a snowflakes on your eyelashes, the makeup like dripping off the cheeks. So I was like, it was a mess.
Oh my God, that's insane. That's insane. I
Yeah.
never heard a story like that before. How amazing. How amazing
And
diversity.
it's funny, like living in New York, they would like announce on the news, like, okay, like be ready for snow, like buy the water, buy the food, like, it's like the end of the world. And then you go outside and it's like snow that much, and you're like,
Guys, seriously. Then I come from
I've
Russia.
seen
I know
worse.
what exactly is.
I've seen worse. So yeah,
That's
it's
great.
a different life for sure. And I'm coming from like a smaller town. It's not Moscow.
What's the name?
My town called Khabarovsk. It's on the far east Russia. It's very close to China, so it's very close to Asia, and we have a lot of Asian food. And it's a different kind of Russia. It's not a Russia probably that your husband went to. I'm sure he went to Moscow probably, right? Or St. Petersburg.
Moscow, St. Petersburg, all the big cities, yeah.
Yeah, and it's beautiful there. And I honestly, I never been to St. Petersburg. I mean, the Russia is so big that I didn't.
Really?
Yeah. I left my country when I was 13, and it's just, I never had a chance. But actually, I was talking to my husband that we're planning to do like a Russian trip with my daughter, just to show her, where
Yeah,
she.
that's what I was going to ask you. Like, have you been there? When did you went last time, And if
I
you plan
was
to go.
there since I left. It was 8 years.
Wow, wow. It's been a long time. And here's a photo of you, little. So
It's actually funny.
adorable.
You know what this crown is? I
What?
won like a competition, like a beauty competition.
You don't have any jackets there. You must be inside.
It's inside. Yeah, the photo shoot was inside. It was probably my first beauty competition, and I won. So, and it was like a crown made out of cardboard, basically.
Oh my God. Do you always dream to be a model?
No, never.
No?
I mean, I never dreamed to be a model. It was not in my, plan. And especially where I'm coming from, like the modeling is not something common, or like it's not something that people, like here, for example, people know about modeling. Maybe growing up you've seen, but there was no, nobody from my city was coming out of my city being famous as a model. Or there was one modeling school, and that's how I actually got the idea. That modeling exists, because my friend went to modeling school, and she said, "Oh, let's go together." And I said, "Okay, let's go." So it was something fun for us to do and like spend time, and we just got there, and I started doing it. And then actually the owner of the school, she kind of like, "Oh, you should really take it serious. Like, I think you can be a model." So that's how the whole idea is kind of was born for me.
How it started. And how old are you when that happened?
I was, probably started when I was like 13, 12, really
Was
young.
that, it was like right before that kind of, that's one of the first photos I found you on Instagram.
Yes, this is one of the first trips. I probably here, I don't know, maybe 15 I'm here. And I was, you see, I'm wearing wings.
You're like, since the beginning, you're like, I'm
I
an
was
angel.
dreaming. I was already dreaming to be,
You're very powerful because your manifestations are like in
yeah,
place.
it put something in my mind. I noticed that I sometimes I get there.
You
Not all
determined.
the time, but most of the time, if I really want it hard, I get there. But this picture was taken in Singapore. I remember that picture.
Was that the first place you went after
No,
when you start modeling?
no, I went. First trip was to Japan, and
I'm sure you were like famous in Japan, like this Barbie look. It was
I,
like,
I was working pretty well there. Yes, I always had jobs in Japan, and they like young girls look and blonde, so they definitely were excited to have me there, and they were shooting me for a lot of catalogs. But it's a different type of jobs. There is no like a career jobs. It's more like a catalogs, bridal things.
yeah, no, I went to Japan. It was my first trip too. And you go, it's like a little school, you know, they send
Yeah,
you there just to get to know how jobs work and the hours of work.
for
And
sure.
they take you everywhere, you know, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's just like a school kind of
For
thing.
sure, yes. And like a lot of models, so when they ask me like, oh, like agency forced me to go to Asia, I want career, I want big things. And I always say like, listen, it's a process and you should go to Asia because you can learn your mistakes there. You can learn the business, you can understand how business works. And
Of course.
to work in Asia, it's a different kind of experience. It's long hours, it's a lot of looks to shoot, I'm sure you know. And
Yes, yes.
it's kind of a good
It
preparation
gets
for,
you prepared, exactly. It's like a middle step before going to New York or Paris or Milan, one of these major cities.
yeah.
Just like kind of understand how it works. No, I loved it. I gained so much weight when I was in Japan because
Me too. Me
I hated Japanese food. I was like, what is, I didn't speak English. It was really the beginning. And I came back home and the agents looked at me. They were like, where were you?
Yeah, I know. So it happened to me the same. I went there first time, and obviously I don't know how to cook an egg, because my mom was cooking everything for myself every day. So I went to Japan, and there was like a Dunkin' Donuts close by, and
Oh my God, that
so
was it.
all I've been eating was just this food. And I came back. I remember, Emanuela, I gained 10 kilos. Not even kidding.
Wow.
I don't know how agency didn't send me back home.
Before.
They didn't even tell me anything. I mean, I think they just like at some point they just give up maybe. They're like, okay. But I remember my mom's face because living in my hometown and being a teenager, like I never had problem with my weight. But I guess when I was in Japan, maybe I already will. My body was changing or something. So it's kind of like it was not the same as before. Like the food I was eating was already seeing on
Exactly. No,
my
it's
body.
a combination of things. You know,
Yeah,
your age, the hormones,
yeah,
you in a different country by on yourself. You know, way. You
yeah.
know, far from the family. You're just eating something that is not your usual every day. I went home. I gained around 5 kilos, and I thought that was a lot, but 10, it's top
Then
one for sure.
you have no idea.
And when I went back home, I lost everything because on the daily basis, just going back to your normal routine.
Of course, you're eating your normal food and you're doing your normal things. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, yes.
But I remember my mom face when she saw me in the airport when I came back from Japan. She was like,
What? What? Where's my daughter?
"What happened to you?"
That's so funny.
So that
Oh,
was like,
families are there for us every
yeah.
time. And
But, but my mom is not, was not filtering what she was saying.
no,
She
she's
saw me
like,
straight. She's like, I think, I
you're
think.
very close to them, no?
Yeah, especially now, I think I became so much closer to my parents. My parents are super young. My parents are, my dad turning 50 next year.
Wow.
And my mom is, I think, 48 or 49, something like this. So
Wow.
they're super young, and now we became so close, and especially now having a baby, like, you know, I understand my mom so much more now, you know. And I'm sure
It's
you
so
went through.
funny you say that because it's exactly how I feel. I understand my mom so much more after having a child. It's insane.
Yeah, and I like, you know, I start to call her much more often now and like ask how she's doing, because I don't know, like just now as a mom, like you just start to think like one day your daughter will be my age, and you know what I would want my daughter to do for me, you know.
Exactly,
And you kind of
exactly.
try to create this example for your daughter as well, you know, like even now I always not force her, but I kind of setting up, you know, now she's little, but I'm setting up the call, you know, every other day with my mom, so for her kind of get the habit of you know, being connected to a family.
For sure, it's so important. So we do it here too with my family and Gaston's family. Every other day we call, we make sure they see each other, because that's the downside of you of living. I mean, I love being in Miami too, but you are far from the family. So the good thing of technology is like today's you can kind of like just be really connected
Yeah. And
and share with them.
your family lives in Brazil too, right? Yeah.
Yes, mine in Brazil and Gaston's in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
And every day I send videos of Julia. Everything she does, they know, because that's the way, you know, that's the way they kind of get part of it, you know.
For
So it's,
sure. I actually even created a separate Instagram account for just grandparents, because I was like, I wanted to post so many pictures of my daughter, and you know, and I became one of this person that were taking 1,000 pictures and wanted to post them. So I was like, instead of me flooding my
your
personal
account.
Instagram with my daughter, because I know sometimes people are like, oh, like, why is she posting so many pictures of daughters? So I created a separate Instagram, and there is just like grandmothers and, you know, family members that really
Yeah,
desire to see 50 pictures a day.
exactly, exactly. No, it's the same thing, same thing.
Yeah.
Um, and when did you went to New York? What were your dreams like? You're telling me that you didn't really dream with modeling, but it happened. You know, they kind of scouted you. And when did you arrive in New York? Did you had a perspective already in your mind, or you just thought, I'm gonna give it a try and see how it goes?
Um, I came to New York. I mean, the New York didn't happen to me like, oh, just by chance, and I just go. Like, New York kind of was a long way for me, and it was in my, you know, it was my goal. And I'm not super tall, and especially like I feel like now the industry is a little bit more flexible with height. But when I started, it was very like strict, and they were not looking into anyone below 175 centimeters, you know. So it was very strict. And being 173, which is like 2 centimeters, seems like nothing, but for them was a big
Nothing.
deal.
Yeah.
But for them it was a big deal. So like my mother agency, when I started to have mother agency in Moscow, they told me like, listen, we take you, but don't plan to go to US or Europe. Like, we can take you, we can put you in a good agency in Asia, you'll earn a lot of money, but don't like have a big goal, you know. And it was frustrating for me, obviously, because the reason why I switched, you know, to, because I had my local agency in my hometown, and I switched to Moscow. The only reason why I did that was because I was thinking that if I'm going to switch to a bigger agency in Moscow, they'll give me more opportunity maybe to build a career, you know, overseas.
And
So
to start already with that block, I'm sure it was like, oh, hold
yeah,
on.
so at the beginning, I was, you know, honestly, like at the beginning, I kind of left this idea, and I was like, okay, maybe. But then I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of tricked them too, and I said, okay, you know, I didn't want them not to take me, because, you know, in Russia there are so many beautiful girls, and everyone wants, you know, a lot of girls wants to be a model. So the agency doesn't feel bad to say no to one, because they know there will be another one, you know. So I kind of always, you know, on the beginning of my career, especially, I always wanted to be like, okay, okay. I was just saying okay to everything my agent were, you know, were suggesting me to do
Guiding you.
in my career, and I was trusting. So I was like, okay, I will do just Asia, you know, to earn money. Still sounds good to me, you know. Um, After a couple of trips to Asia, I understood that I went to China one time, and I understood that I don't want to go to China again ever in my life. I came back bald, and and it was a traumatic experience for me. It's just a different kind of, different kind
What
of
was
job.
it that traumatized you so badly?
I mean, I don't want to say anything. I mean, I earned a lot of money there,
Of
and I
course.
had a lot
Yeah,
of
with
jobs there,
respect.
which I'm very, thankful. But it was just, you know, there were enormous amount of looks, the longest hours, didn't want to pay overtime. So I mean, some things were just not something I was pleased with, you know.
Exactly.
And and I just decided, like, that's it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to Asia again. I want to do US, you know, or Europe. And I told straightforward to my agent, listen, like, it's either I'm giving it a shot to US or Asia, or I'm quitting modeling because I'm just not interested to do that just in Asia, you know. And she said, okay. So she said to come to Moscow and do like a trial kind of photo shoot, more fashion, you know, less commercial, because we were sending pictures to US. And when I came there, weirdly enough, in that moment, there was a casting for New York Models Agency in New York. And I was staying in a model apartment in Moscow, and there was like 5 other girls that came to Moscow and stayed in this model apartment for this casting. And you know, my agent, my booker said, "Oh, I'm going tomorrow with this group of girls who was much older than me, much taller than me, super gorgeous." You know, so I was a little bit intimidated because I was like, "Okay, now I understand. Like the girls are so much taller than me and older. You know, like I don't have a chance. I know what she's saying. You know." So, but she still like was like, okay, you know, why don't you come to casting just to see, you know, how the casting goes, you know, like just to get to know people, you know. And I remember it was like in a Hilton hotel in Moscow. On the lobby there was these people from New York Models, and I came, and they were casting these 5 girls, and my agent told me to sit on the couch. And I sat there and I was just watching them. And in the end, this woman from the agency, she turned around and she asked who I was. And she said, "Oh, like this is a younger girl in our agency. She's new. You know, she just wanted to see how the casting goes." And she said, oh, "Okay," like, you know, she was very nice to me, and she asked what was my name and like where I was from and all this stuff. She was just trying to be nice. And then she said, "Okay, why don't you come? I'll take a Polaroids, you know, for you as well." And I felt like she probably just wanted me to feel like, you know,
You
comfortable.
welcomed.
Yeah, like welcomed, you know. And I was not expecting to be chosen, you know. And it's funny because I left Moscow maybe like a day after, and I flew back to my hometown, which is far away. It's like 9-10 hours flight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so the Russia is huge. So it's basically one side to another. And
Wow.
I remember my agent called me like in a few days and said, like, "Vita, you will not believe." And I said, "What?" She's like, they picked you. Like they didn't pick anyone else, they picked you." So, and I was like, "No way." I was
That's
so happy.
amazing.
I was so happy. And we had to wait like another year because I think I was like 15 or something. I could only go to US without supervision when I was 16. And so I waited another year, and I went to New York, and that was my first agency, New York Models, and I started there my career. You know, I've been through few agencies in New York, and I always say like each agency played some part in my career, and I'm very grateful for all the people that've been in my past.
Wow, that's definitely destiny. I mean, you stepping out for yourself, just saying I don't want to go to China anymore. I'm sure at your age that wasn't like an easy thing to do. I wouldn't imagine, you know. But
Yeah,
and then you are the agent sitting there and just waiting and just watching these, and happens for you to come to New York. That's so amazing.
yeah. So
Congratulations. That's so inspiring, honestly.
So I was like, I remember my first day being in New York and being so excited to be there. And, you know, I was just happy to be in New York. I wasn't like thinking, you know, obviously later on, you know, when you get used to life and everything, you already kind of build the bigger plans and, you know, and think about further things. But I was just happy to be there. And like, you
This
know,
photo will tell everything, how happy
yeah.
you were.
So here's a picture. Look, that was probably the first year. Look at my high heels. I was just happy to be there.
You're like, here are my centimeters that I'm missing on my foot.
I don't know how I didn't broke my legs.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's incredible. And you showed like, you posted that photo and you just showed your excitement of like how amazing it was to be at the Victoria's Secret catalog and
That
shooting for
was the
them and
pink.
working for
That
them.
was pink.
The
Yes, that was
pink,
pink.
right?
Yeah, 2014, so 6 years ago. So they are, yeah, started with Pink, and uh, VS wasn't like a go.
It wasn't in your plans, or it was in your plans?
So, obviously, I always knew what VS. I knew what VS was before coming to New York. I didn't know growing up, like I don't know. I just wasn't like really following, and I started to get to know more business before I came to New York, and you were already in the show. So now having a conversation with you, about this, it's an honor for me to talk to you, because growing up and dreaming about something where you want to be, and you see girls like you that are already there. So obviously you're rewatching shows, and you try to analyze what you do, how you act on the end of it,
how you interact.
yes. So it's it was something that VS was something that became like my big goal when I was already in New York, and I just why, I think because I was always kind of since I was always told that I was commercial, I always tried to fight it. I was saying, no, I can do a high fashion, I want to do fashion week, I was like trying to kind of fight it, and I think the moment I understood, like, you know what, I am commercial, I'm more commercial looking, but I'd still have a chance to have a career. And at that time, I saw to build a big career, and to for a girls like us, with more like a beauty faces and more beauty looks, it was Victoria's Secret. And, that's when it became goal of mine. And I went for, what
And
is
just a year from that, you booked the show. I mean,
Yes.
that was a very short period of time,
I don't think it was. I think that it took me 2 years to get, because
2 years.
first year.
Okay. I mean, it's very, very short.
Yes. It took me 2 years, because first year they told me no, and
How did that make you feel? Like you were like, oh shit.
it was not pleasant, I can tell you. uh, because I can tell you why, because I was working a lot I was working in Pink for some time, and then they switched me to a main line, to shoot main line, and I was working so much on catalogs, and I was really, I felt like I was part of it, and I felt like if I was a part of it, I deserved to, not that I deserved anything, I didn't expect anything, but I felt like I had a chance, and when one of the casting director told my agent that, like, she shouldn't even try, she doesn't have a chance because she's short or whatever,
Oh my God.
I was a little hurt, I was a little hurt because I felt like, then don't take me to shoot the catalogs if you think I'm not a good fit for the show, and it took me like a moment to digest it a little bit, and I kept shooting catalogs and being very grateful for it, but it kind of got me a little bit more angry, and for the next year I was for the 2015 show, I was working out like there is no tomorrow. I've been
you fight it really hard just to make sure you were getting.
I just really, because one of the person in the where who picks, I don't want to say who, told me that told the agent that, like, she's short and she's not in the shape to be in the show, Meanwhile, I was in shape to be in the catalog, so it was like, I guess it was a different standards, So you have no idea how hard I worked out, how hard I diet, and I lost so much weight. And a lot of people slammed me with comments after the pictures and videos came out that, like, I was anorexic and everything, So it was like a strange moment, for me. And that 2015 casting, when I went, when I was in crazy shape, and, like, when you're so mad already from year before, I was like, I'm getting this, like, I've been working for them for a year, like, this is the time, I'm getting it, I just put it in my mind. And you know how it goes, like, before like you go on, like, pre-casting, and then you go to the main casting. There was like, you know, multiple stages.
Steps.
And they didn't let me go on the main casting to see all of the people. And
God.
and I was even more mad because I was like, I was working out so much and I was in such a good shape. And as I said, like I didn't have any expectation, but I felt like at least on the main casting, I deserved to be there, you know. And
You
I
had
just
a
told my,
chance to show yourself, of course.
yeah, yes, just to, you know, just to make me feel, since I've been part of this brand, and I worked out and I wanted to be there, just to like give me a chance just to see me, you know, and like say hi and try the lingerie and just see how the main casting goes, you know.
Of course.
So in that moment, I told my agent, I was like, listen, you can call this person back and say, I don't care, I'll be there, you know. And my agent said, oh, like, okay, you know, and they kind of pushed it, and I basically invited myself to the main casting, and I got the show.
Good
And I
for
got the
you.
show.
I mean, seriously, that's like you didn't give up and you got it. And I'm really sorry to hear of all the experience you've been through, because here in the photo you're saying, I mean, you're looking stunning beautifully, but behind it there's so much emotion going through, you know, of like fighting and getting skinner and working out and nervous. It's just like a lot. And I feel like with
Yeah, you
your
know,
stories,
as I said, you know, this picture is, for me, is has a big meaning. I think this is the moment, you know, as painful maybe as some experience was for me, you know, and as I said, like, I think that was the craziest workouts and diets I've done to myself. And after, I was just like, you know, psychologically, even it was like a mess, you know,
run
after,
down.
run down, because for 5 months I was just like, you know, I don't know, doing 1.5 hour of cardio every day, and you know, it was just crazy. And you know, like, this picture, for me, it's just, I made myself feel like if I want something really hard, you know, I can achieve it. And that pictures for me is nothing but good emotions, just because I felt so good at that moment. And you know, I as I said, I'm so grateful to this brand no matter what, because this brand helped me to elevate my career so much. And you know, the next day was so much easier to get me higher paid jobs and everything. So you know, I'm very blessed to be walking this runway. And it's very sad that there is no more of the show, because I feel like the industry for girls like us now changed again. Because I don't know, you know, being a commercial model, how do you make a career now? Because you know, I think Sport Illustrated also is is one of the brands that can make your career. But before it was Sport Illustrated NVS, now it's only Sport Illustrated, so it's even more narrower, you know. So it's a strange moment now, and it's, you
It
know.
is, but with the stories like yours and ours, I mean, all of us, I feel like all the models has gone through that time where we struggle so much and we just really drain our mental health more than, you know, our own physical health. But I feel like with all those stories out, the world is changing, the fashion industry is changing, just accepting that, like, with while we're going to talk today, you're not just a model. You went out, you create something new, you show your lifestyle, you know, that you are a health mom and you're a beautiful wife and a gorgeous model. It's just like the combo. It's not even about modeling for a brand. You are your brand. So I feel like the slowly this is what is becoming the fashion industry. You know, we're selling like real life, which is
Yeah,
reality, which is what we should be selling.
yeah, for sure. And you know, as you said, now it's more about you being a brand. And I think with social media nowadays, you know, you can create your own story, and you can decide what you wanna advertise, you know, in a way. Like, um you know, I can see, like, now I think in the last year, I feel like, you know, I've been following you for a while, and I feel like in the last year you kind of change the direction in your social media too, and decide to take a different road. And it's interesting because you took this decision, and you decide what you want. And
Of course.
I think to have this power in your hands, you know, instead of like before, modeling agent would decide what you have to be, is
Exactly.
you know, is really great.
No, it's beautiful, and like, as you say, I'm getting all goosebumps, because it is like when you are modern, you're young, you let them decide, and they kind of like drag you in a way of like, this is, oh, you should not never say this, you should not never show this side. And after, like, for the past couple of years, I've been just like dealing with myself and doing all this work inside, you know, of like, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Because it sounds like all bullshit is, but it's really what it is, you know. And I started, just like you say, to just showing what I'm really passionate about, and just, I feel like whoever wants to follow me and resonate with my story is gonna be there for me. You know, we're gonna do this together. I don't want people to expect something that I'm not, you know. So I feel like with that in mind, it just makes me so much happier, and allows me to just be myself. And I feel
Yeah, for
like you
sure.
are in the same path too.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as I said, like, you know, now it's a different approach to you. And like now agent ask, you know, how do you feel? What do you want to do? Like, you know, and I feel like even now agencies, like, they don't want to take just a pretty girl. They already want to have a girl with a story, you know.
With
They
the personality,
feel like
yes.
it's not more. It's just too much work for them to create something, you know, from scratch. So when young models ask me like what's the advice, and I said before going to any agency you have to create your story. Like now, you know, not only just social media, but like now it's just so important to have something more to say, you know, something more interesting.
and
um
and and, and important to that, something that is, it's there to you. Like,
yeah,
I feel like
you,
it comes across
yeah.
totally when you see someone's pictures. You feel the vibe, you feel if something is made up, or if you really like living that life. So I feel like it's important to have a personality. But the world is huge, you know. It's the like opportunity for all of us. So let's just be ourselves, and there's always going to be a door open up for you.
But it's funny, you know, you said about like now you get to know yourself, you know, after so many years being in modeling and everything. And I'm so agree with that, because I always say like when you are a model, you know, it's like a blessing and a curse, because it's a
Yeah.
great opportunity to, you know, obviously like, you know, to come from you know, from a small town and live in US. Like I would never, my parents would never be able to afford for me to move here and, you know, or pay university or anything. Like this was my only chance, and I'm very grateful for this. But in a way it makes you so detached from reality, you know, like being in a modeling industry and going to all these jobs every day and being so busy. And first of all, years fly by so quickly just being so busy, you know, especially when you're living in New York. And second of all, you know, like as I said, you kind of detach from reality in a way, because your whole reality is only modeling. So I'm sure you're getting to know yourself, because now you kind of step out of this world and you living in a more normal kind of lifestyle, and
Or
that's how
yes.
you do. And you know, and as your mind understand that this is the right thing, this is the core, you know, and the family is the core and everything. But in a way, for me, sometimes, especially in the beginning, it was so hard, you know, because I felt like a little bit, I don't know how to explain. It was a weird feeling. I thought that like, you know, not running every day, you know, like in a wheel, you know, and running here, running there. It was like a strange feeling to leave this like, you know, normal.
Letting go and accepting the new reality.
Yeah, like not being traveling every week to some other place and you know going to sleep in your own bed every day. It was weird feeling, you know what I'm saying?
It's strange at first, but it's a process, you know, with like the everyday, and with your time free. I mean, we moms now, so we don't have free time, but like just find passions, find things that makes you happy. And I'm, like you said, I'm really grateful for all the years of modeling that I had. And I feel like that was my school, that was my university. I left home too so young, and all the things that I've learned, now I'm slowly kind of like, okay, now I not cheat, but I can put it out there. You know, I'm open, I'm comfortable in my own body, in my own self, to kind of like, okay, this is me, guys. What's up? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's interesting. It's definitely
It,
interesting.
yes, it's interesting, but you know, it was like a not an easy transition to kind of like combine yourself with, you know, being a mom and wife and living this normal, you know, pace of life, and still, you know, trying to make it happen. And it's just a adjustment, you know.
It is an adjustment for sure. No, you're doing amazing. What are you talking about? You're doing
Thank you.
fantastic. I want to talk
No,
about
but
something.
no, I, you know, I'm not saying like I'm not doing well, and I, you know, and I think people think like, oh, you know, it's so easy, but I just want to say that it's like it's not, you know, and like everyone goes through the changes, and you know,
Of course.
everyone felt this, you know, always have some hard moments, and like we are, you know, we also do, and we also did, you know.
For sure. Cycles of life. But
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that kept me going is like every time when I felt really bad, one day or a week or a month, there was always something good coming out of it. You know, it's like you always feel like you get into the bottom to kind of like go up again. So it's really like it's life. You know, not every some days you happy with things, other days you're not so happy. You kind of like go
For
drawing
sure.
your future.
For sure.
I want to talk about something now that you posted. I feel like a couple years ago, where
Mm-hmm.
you said something about the struggle that you're going through with just like modeling, very busy, working, all amazing things, but it kind of led you to drain yourself and your mental health to not take care of yourself. So my question particularly is like, when was the point that you realized that wasn't like sustainable anymore? You know, like I have to make a change. I have to. What happened?
I think like the moment when I realized like, okay, I think I should just like, you know, focus on myself and not being focused on pleasing anyone around and trying to, you know, get the jobs that are maybe don't want me, you know, like at some point, basically, you know, with a strict diet, the bottom line, you cannot go forever. So I kind of couldn't go any longer with the, you know, with the crazy workouts and diets, and I gained weight, you know, and from, you know, I gained weight pretty quickly, maybe in 2 months, you know, I gained a lot of weight, and I was a little bit over my weight, or over my usual weight, you know, for my body. And it was, you know, it was because the body was kind of compensating for all this time that were probably I was, you know, I was not in a healthy shape. And from one day to another, you know, kind of clients didn't want to work with me anymore because they said I was out of shape, you know. And I think that's when it's kind of really was hard for me because I couldn't lose weight, and nobody
Your body
wanted to
was in
work.
shock, I'm sure, with all like
Yeah,
the ups and
yeah. So
downs.
nobody wanted to work with me, and you know, and it was like a strange feeling because one day everyone is friends with you and everyone wants to work with you, and then the other day because you don't look certain way, they don't care about you, you know. And it just was a hard feeling, you know, hard emotions to live through. And I just took back a little bit, and I stopped working for a little bit to kind of get myself back to a positive mindset, and you know, and a good shape, not a skinny ridiculous shape, but a good shape, you know. And as I said, like this picture, which is right here, is my pictures from Sport Illustrated, and I said this is a year where I felt really comfortable in my own body, and I felt like that was my healthy weight, you know. And actually, like, you know,
Absolutely.
basically the year after I had a baby, you know, because when I was extremely skinny, you know, I wasn't having period for years, you know. So also that part scared me because, you know, I always wanted to have a family, and you know, when you're, you know, when I got married and everything, we kind of already started to plan it, you know. So that part also kind of scared me, that I should be more mindful about my body and more mindful of what I'm doing to myself, you know.
No, absolutely. And how long did it take you from the process? Like, because a lot of people,
Yeah,
they diet is just like it's a word that everyone loves, but I personally don't believe it in diets
I
anymore.
don't
I've
believe,
done it, you know, but
I believe,
it's a
I believe
process.
I believed all these years in the diet, and I always was saying to people, "Oh, I'm not naturally skinny, and I'm just like this is what I have to do, and this is what my life will be about. I will just have to fight for looking good, you know." And right now, I just hate word diet. I never use it in my, you know, in my vocabulary ever again, because I feel like it's something that's so engraved in my mind, something so negative that if I tell to myself, "Okay, I'm going on a diet," I automatically want to eat 5 times more, you know.
Yes,
This
absolutely. It's very mental. Yeah, it kind of
so
like
mental, you know.
whatever you have three times more. You
Three
know.
times more, you know. So like, and I think like after the pregnancy, you know, just having so much respect for your body for having a baby, and just seeing how it can carry a baby and your belly can get like 100 times bigger and then go back to being flat. You're just like, oh, my body is just so amazing, and it can do all these amazing things and grow a baby inside of me. You just have different kind of respect, and like I do to myself now. And I just focus on being healthy and eating. I pick the things that I love to eat that are healthy. I don't force myself eating, I don't know, steamed white fish because I think it's gonna be good for my looks. I just skip that food that I hate. And I don't force myself eating that, and I pick these few foods that I really like, enjoy. And if I feel like having a cake today, I will. And I'm not gonna be punishing myself tomorrow for this. I just have certain, like, a different routine. I still have a discipline. I'm not saying like you should just go off the rails and not have
exactly and eat whatever you want, but it's
I think it's just a balance. It's just a balance. Like I have certain I would say not diet but rules. Like if I go if I go out for dinner, for a late dinner, and I overeat, maybe because I love the food, and I had a glass of wine, the next morning I'll have a lighter breakfast. I like a green juice, go work out. Like I have certain routine and the balance between these two. But the hardest part in it was not to punishing myself for doing this, because I felt like for eating cake, like, oh, like you would like look at myself in the mirror like, you failure, you gave up on your dreams, bitch. So it's like it was like a different kind of like you're so hard on yourself always. And like, and for skipping a workout, you're like, okay, now you're 10 steps back, like you gotta work out 10 times more.
Just be a little gentle to you. It kind of helps so much, huh?
Yeah, like I feel like, being gentle to yourself. And as I said, like now I look at workouts even so different. Like before I felt like the harder the workout, the better it is, like the ripper I will be. But the reality is like, is after workout you're on the couch for 2 hours, it means that it's not a good fit, for you, because it needs to be a workout that you feel energized after,
Absolutely.
and you feel energized, and it should feel like you can sustain it, like that you can do it every other day or even every day, so it should be like a right fit for you. So that's why, like, when people ask me, I share all this content of like what I do, how I eat, how I work out. It's great, but I always say, like, what's good for me might not be good for you. I give just a general advice, but you should definitely look into how you feel.
Amazing. Someone is saying here, this conversation is so important, and I totally agree. I mean, you're giving so much information, just that it's like it's your life and how it's been going, but it's just so inspired for so many people, that people think, oh, I'm just gonna do a diet here and feel good and look good forever. No, it's a lifestyle. Every day you learn something new, you listen to your body, you really just being gentle and taking care and not blaming yourself too. Of course, you're not gonna eat French fries every day. Of course, that's like, what do you want with that?
Common sense.
Yeah, but it's just really having your goals of why you want to look good, why you want to feel good, and from there create a habit. Like an everyday thing where you can go up and down and balance. You're totally right. Balance. I use these words because it's everything. You cannot go a stream or another. It's just like, it's like a wave. It kind of goes back and forth. So it's super important.
Yeah, I always say, like, I don't fixate on any, like, I don't weigh myself anymore, because I feel like
me neither. So
like
funny.
It's something from my modeling years where I would travel with a scale, just to let you know, in my luggage. I would just weigh myself every day. And I think it's something that, like, mess up with my mind so much. But I do it just once in a while out of curiosity,
Just to know.
And I kind of fluctuate like 3 kilos up and down, and I give myself this freedom, and I feel like it's even easier for me. So you should never fixate on one number. Even if you weigh yourself, you should always give yourself a range, that it's normal. Like, with a period, with maybe a fun weekend or something, you're gonna fluctuate. It's it's your body, and it changes so fast. Like from one day to another, it can look so different.
It can look so different. It's crazy. I got a lot of questions of how did you met your husband, and when did you think when was the moment that you thought he was the one to marry?
I met my husband in New York, and it was like a funny story because he was dating someone and I was dating someone, and he saw me first. We didn't like really get it. We weren't introduced, and he saw me and he remembered me, and then he broke up, and I broke up. So and it's kind of I mean he broke up first, and I still was in a relationship, and he kind of set up this girl night out with one of the girl models that I knew, and she invited me for a girls' night out, and I showed up there without my ex-boyfriend, and he was there. So and
Oh,
we kind of had a chance to talk, and we met. But we nothing happened until I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, and then
of course.
we kind of reconnected again, and first date was in Australia because I was working in Australia, and he flew to Australia to surprise me, and he invited me out for dinner in Australia. So that's a story.
Wow, that's a
And
beautiful story.
yeah, from Australia. So he flew all half of
All
the
the way,
world to
he's
me.
like, this one is worth it. I'm definitely going to Australia. That's
Yeah,
an odd like place to go. It's
I
far.
it's far. So and after Australian trip, we kind of got to know each other and never split again. That was the story.
Wow.
So and I
Wow.
moved to Miami pretty quickly. Yeah, and started a life with him, and I understood kind of right away that he was the one because it felt right. Like everything just flew so easily. That's why like a lot of my friends when they are starting a relationship and their story seems so complicated already from the start, I always say like, listen, if from the start it's already so complicated, you should run.
Exactly. Just find something else.
Yeah, because I think that when it's the right fit, it just should flow. And that's how I felt with him, and I still feel this way. And we are just so similar on so many things. We're different, but we're similar. Like the way we look at the family, our priorities, sense of humor. Like just a lot of in common things. And he's so
Yeah, I
supportive.
see.
You
I
know?
see that you guys are the birthdays very close. Are you guys from the
Yeah.
same sign? Do you feel like
Uh,
that's why you get so like connected?
We're not the same sign. I
No.
I I'm Pisces and he's Aries. So, but I'm like I'm last of day of Pisces. I'm March 20 and he's March 27. So I'm kind of on the cusp. So probably I'm
Okay.
a little bit half Aries. But it's funny because Aries is a sign that my dad is, and my ex a lot, few of my exes that I had was Aries too. So it's funny because I think
Wow.
this is a sign in men's maybe I kind of
I
understand,
get attracted to.
or
It
I get
must be. It
attracted.
must be.
So it's easy for me to understand him because my dad in so many ways, that's what they say, like you usually look for in your husband quality of the dads. And
Yes.
it's funny because like he's the way he acts sometimes and things like this, it's just something that I've seen in my family that my mom been through.
Oh my God.
So
Oh
it's
my God. No, I've heard that before. I've heard that before. And you guys had Allegra. Just you were pregnant just like a year after the wedding. Was it
yes.
planned? You like really wanted to get pregnant, or just happened?
Yeah. So we got married in July 29, and we we enjoyed half a year traveling around, and then after half a year we started to plan on baby, and I got pregnant almost right away after we started trying, and the baby was born very fast. So and we were very excited
That's
for a little girl. Yeah, and now she's just she's a lot of work, but she's like so precious, and she starts to
she
say
has
things.
she has, I don't know how to say the word, heritage, like she like
Heritage. Yeah.
she has your beauty and your sense of style and like a very cute energy to her. It's so great to
Thank
watch her whenever you post things of her. She's
Thank you.
she's like a character herself. It's amazing.
She is such a character, and now she talks. So she says a lot. You know, I speak Russian to her all the time. I want her to learn Russian because my parents don't speak English, so I want them to be able to communicate. And just generally, I wanted her to learn Russian. So, and I speak only Russian to her. So she speaks Russian. She speaks a lot of Russian. And sometimes she goes to Valeria, to my husband, and she starts to tell him things in Russian. And you know, she has a little bit of a personality, and she does not have patience. So whenever he doesn't understand what she's saying, she gets so mad. And then
Oh
like
my God,
Valeria
that's
run
hysterical.
to me and ask what she was saying to me. Like, and she gets so mad, and she like repeating the same word, like insisting on him to understand. It's the funniest thing ever.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She's
Yeah,
above light. Sure.
it's funny.
Like was there like something that we learned with, I mean, I feel like with motherhood we learn something every day, but it was definitely something that was like, okay, I thought this was going to be different, but it's definitely taking me to a different direction. Was there
I mean,
anything?
so before you becoming a mom, you're picturing it differently, and you're just saying, "Oh, I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna do this," you know. Uh, and when you become a mom, you just like, okay, you know what? My kid is loved. My kid is clean, fed. That's important. And so,
That's
you know,
important.
all the other rules that I built for myself, like she will never eat sugar, or you know, I'll be only feeding her healthy food. She'll never try French fries until she's like 15. You know, all flew away. You know, so I think kid teach you to be easygoing. That's what I would say. I just go with the flow and try to be, you know, especially with modeling, as I said, things are so planned that with kid you cannot plan things. Sometimes
No,
it's just, you know, sometimes you just have to let it go and say, you know what, whatever.
I hear you, mother. I'm the same way. It's just like, as far as she's fed and she's happy and she's not hungry, all good. All good.
Yeah,
It's so
like we're
funny
good.
how like you have all those things planned and suddenly it's like, oh, not happening.
Yeah,
We have very short time, but I really want to talk about this. It's this project. I mean, you are only 26 years old. I feel like you could be 37 just for all your maturity and the way you
thank you.
speak and the way you really just have like a brighter vision of, how life is, being a mom and a wife, everything.
Thank
There's so much baggage into your life. That's what I'm saying, and now you're creating also brands. Where
you.
did this started and like how? Tell me more.
So it's vegan gelato brand that I started with my friend when I actually was pregnant. You know, I kind of stepped out of modeling completely when I was pregnant, and I had a lot more time to think what I want to do. And this idea of vegan gelato came to life, and we created this brand, and we're selling locally in local cafes. And you know, it's just a passion. You know, I'm passionate about healthy food, so and that gelato is something that I can give to my kid, and I can eat myself without, like, as I said, like sense of guilt or anything like this. So it's just a healthy product, and I love sweets, so this ice cream I can eat literally every day, and you know, not feel like I have to work out harder, or you know, or diet harder.
Exactly. You're literally just treating yourself and nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a vegan gelato, coconut base. It's sweetened with dates and monk fruit, so it's very low in sugar. And you know, you see on the packaging is me and my partner Ali.
That's
Uh,
amazing. And
I,
how was like
did
what
you
for?
get a chance to try it? I should send you some.
Yes,
I'll send
please.
you some. Yes,
Okay,
I
great.
love that.
For some entrepreneurs that are watching, like what was your struggle? Like your main struggle was like finding the right ingredients and just making it look taste and
You know,
healthy at the same time.
it's everything, you know. It's just like to have an idea, it's one thing. To execute it is totally another thing, you know. It's just so hard to, especially in that business of frozen products, it's so much harder, you know, because the frozen product distribution is just one of the hardest things you can find. And that's, you know, that's a learning process for me still. And not being familiar with the food business is also another thing, you know. So it's basically everything. Struggle is everything every
You
day,
you
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 know?
study like you really like learning from the bottom with everything
Yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah, really is.
Wow,
Really is.
that's incredible. I mean, I have no more questions. Just like, thank you,
I
really,
love
thank you
so much
so
talking
much
to
for
your.
being here with me. It's
I
been
hope
a
to see
pleasure. I
you.
could talk to you for like 2 more hours, easy.
Oh,
I
we
could
should
find
meet.
something to talk.
We should meet for like
Yes,
outside for some play dates once the whole
yes.
situation
There
is
were. I mean, we were
over.
planning, but the whole
I,
pandemic thing happened, and it's just like now
I
we
know.
slowly kind of like able to make small groups and do some things
So
together.
we
So
should
for
start
sure.
planning the date.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
It was amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for organizing this, and I appreciate it. And I love talking to you. I love your energy too, and I feel like we've been through similar paths, so it's
Yes,
great.
yes. Thank you so much. And guys, for all of you watching, please follow Vita. She does a bit of everything. She's like mom. She's a wife. She
A little bit
makes
of everything.
gelato, plant-based gelato, which I adore. And she just posts so many things about her beauty routines and her style and everything. So it's very inspiring. I watch you all the time, and I feel very inspired with your style. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Vicky is
Thank
the family.
Yes, big kiss to your family too. Bye bye.
Ciao.